Hey Sean, did you guys come out of the game with any injuries?
We had some guys that had some bumps and bruises, but nothing that should affect their game status moving forward. Joe got a little bit of an ankle sprain, Joe Noteboom, but he should be good. Puka Nakua got his ribs banged up a little bit. Jason Taylor was feeling his groin. Akilo had basically like a rib and hip contusion with that shot that he took at the end of the game, but all of those guys should be okay.
Last season, Cooper had almost a 30% target share before he got hurt. What does it do for your offense when you have two? I know Puka still had a pretty big target share, but have two guys have 100-yard games. How does that help Matthew?
Yeah, I mean, I think you just, the goal is to be able to utilize all five of your eligibles. And we've got a lot of guys that we feel really good about. I thought Matthew did an excellent job of being able to get a handful of different players involved yesterday. And so Cooper is a special player, and we can't wait to be able to get him back. But I do think that our offense is operated at its best when you get everybody involved and you make people defend the full width and depth of the field and make them defend all five eligibles. And I think that's an important thing for us to be cognizant of, while not being naive to the fact that you want to get certain players involved and get them their targets so that they can affect the game in a positive way. So it's a good balance.
And then yesterday, you averaged almost 2 minutes more time of possession per drive than you averaged last year. How does that help? I mean, when the defense is not having to deal with those long drives, how does that help when the offense is able to sustain that? And is that part of the reason you guys were able to only give up 12 yards in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a combination of the offense was able to sustain possession, but when when they play 16 snaps defensively, there's a couple things that go into that. That means they're playing excellent third down defense. They're doing it, or really first, second, and third down. They're forcing punts. They're getting off the grass. So they did an outstanding job. And then for us to be able to, for the offense to be able to sustain possession is key and critical. We talk about playing complementary football all the time. I thought that was really on display yesterday. I was really pleased with the way that the defense played, especially with the way that the first half unfolded, and they just settled in, did a great job. But for them to play, I don't know exactly how many it came out officially. It was 51 snaps on the coach's tape, but I don't know if it might have been 50, actual snaps. That's a recipe for success. And when you're able to get about 80 plus snaps offensively and have almost 40 minutes of possession, those are really positive things. And you look at the second half, I mean, it was almost like 25-5 in terms of the possession. And so that is key and critical. There's a whole lot of factors, but I think it's defense getting off the grass, being efficient on all three downs, offense being able to sustain drives and possessions by being efficient, and then really being able to convert. There was one fourth down conversion there, and it was truly a reflection of good team football, and that's what we want to see moving forward.
Thanks, Sean.
You're welcome.
Nick.
Hey, Coach. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Obviously, a tale of two halves for this team. When you look at the second half, at what point did you realize this team was really starting to really lock in and really execute the way that you envisioned this offense to really be and be able to turn the tide and get that victory against Seattle?
Yeah, the way the first half played out was kind of unique because we ended up, the defense I thought did a good job of stopping them, forcing them to a field goal on their first possession. Offense has a long drive that basically, ends up representing the entirety of the first quarter to go up 7-3. They did a good job being able to respond. We end up giving them a short field on a punt return, and they end up being able to capitalize to go up 13-7. We missed a couple field goal opportunities, but I just like the fact that the guys stayed steady. I thought the turning point was, the opening drive, second half, and then the defense being able to get a stop and offense being able to convert every one of their second half drives into scoring opportunities. So I thought it was just the way that guys played in the second half overall. They executed, but one of my favorite things is that football is not perfect. And the fact that we were able to kind of navigate and negotiate through some challenging times where guys didn't change at all. That was an exciting and encouraging thing to be able to see from, so many new faces that you guys are getting familiar with. But I thought just for our team, for the 2023 Rams, there was a lot of experiences that we can take away, both good and then some things that we've got to be able to do at a higher clip. And as we move forward to next week and what we know is a great challenge.
Two big touchdowns by Kyren Williams. How have you seen him evolve and really get acclimated and really approach the offense the way that, his talent speaks?
Yeah, he's a super conscientious. He's always been a really good player. You know, he had some unfortunate injuries that he had to overcome last year as a rookie. But you go back to his career at Notre Dame, really versatile, tough competitor. He's a guy that's put in a lot of work, Nick, and just continued to get better. And Ron Gould does such a great job, really, with that room as a whole. But I thought Kyren maximized his opportunities. I thought he made the most of his 15 carries. I thought he did a great job in protection, and this is a guy that has a big picture understanding and awareness, and certainly those were two big plays that you talked about.
Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.
Eric. I think we lost it. Adam.
Hey, Sean. So everyone's been talking a lot about that last throw to Puka from Matthew, but were there any other throws that you saw from Matthew that, you know, looking at it on the tape, are throws that maybe he couldn't have made last year just due to all the injuries?
Well, he's always been able to make amazing throws. I just think getting the opportunity to be able to, you know, continue to fine tune what's been a rare skill set, but he's put the work in. You know, he had an in-breaking route to Tutu Atwell where both those guys connected on a rhythm and timing play. There was like back-to-back in-breaking catches that he made, but there was one in particular off of a play action that I thought was a pretty special throw. He and Higbee converting on the 30-plus yard gain down the left sideline with Love in coverage. He made a handful of really special throws. I thought he felt the game really well. But that one, if you look at when he let that go and what that picture looked like and what the rush looked like, that was some rare stuff. And that was definitely one of those, great play right there, man, by both those guys.
Thanks, Sean.
You're welcome.
Rico. Oh, we lost him. Stu.
Hey, Sean, just speaking generally, what are the advantages of having a bigger interior offense, part of the offensive line as far as anchoring and pass protection and also in the run game?
I think we're continuing to learn that. I thought the guys protected really well. I thought there were some times where we did a really good job of being able to create removal, and then there were some times where we got to be able to handle some of the movement and some of the things that they did defensively a little bit better. But I thought they settled in. I thought they communicated really well. I thought Coleman Shelton's command and communication was really on display. I thought Alaric Jackson had a really good game. I thought he did an excellent job straining. It was great to be able to see Steve Avila get his feet wet. Noteboom did a nice job with his first start at right guard. And then Rob is you know, he's like a fine wine, just getting better with age. And so I was really pleased with that group, and I think they'd be the first to tell you that they're excited about attacking some opportunities to improve in certain phases. But overall, I thought some of the things that we wanted to see that were key and critical for that game were on display. And it's like anything else. You have to be able to continue to put the work in, continue to improve. And I know that's exactly the approach that Ryan Wendell and that group will end up having.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Rico, we're back to you, man.
Oh, thanks, Thank you, Artisan. Good afternoon, Coach. Buenas tardes. How are you? It's Rico, East LA Sports Scene.
All right.
Good, Coach. And you just mentioned Steve, but I wanted to ask how you and your coach, especially in your coaching staff there, decided to go with the starting assignment for Steve on his first year as, of course, #1 draft of the team. But what went into that? Because so many times the rookies are going to work their way through, but it seemed that you had already looked at him closely, and this is a great opportunity. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, he was a guy that came in highly touted out of TCU, a lot of position flex where he could play either guard or the center position. And so it's like anybody on our roster, every spot is going to be earned. Nothing is given to guys. He came in and he's earned his way. He's continued to get better. There's been some things that he's learned in the process, but I thought once he settled in, I thought he played really well. He's continuing to learn every single day, but I think he's got great coaches. He's got great veteran mentors in that room, but it's the ability, it's the work that he's put in, how smart and conscientious he is, how tough and physical he can play at the point of attack in both the run and protection. And so, we felt like he had earned that spot. And, we're not one of those places. I don't care when you were drafted. We're going to find the best players, and that's who's going to play, and that's who's going to be factors for us. And it's not kind of how we've always operated. And we feel like Steve is a guy that gives us the best chance to be able to play at a level that we want to. And he has earned that starting left guard spot.
Well, thank you, Coach. It means it's very important to us as a community to get out there and support him each and every time he's out there on the field or off the field. But, Coach, can I swing just to your comment the other day in your transcript where you spoke about the youth and the energy of the rookie class, of course, mixed now with the veterans. Talk a little bit more about that and compared to how they did yesterday in the game.
I thought it was on display. You know, a lot of the things that you guys saw yesterday were things that we had seen in competitive opportunities, whether it be at practice with one another or in some of those competitive settings against the Raiders and the Broncos with the 4 chances that we got. But there's just been, there's been a great attention to detail. There's been a great willingness to be accountable and coachable. I think these guys love playing football, and I think they love playing with the teammates. I think they're continuing to come together as a team, which is the most important thing. I think the coaches have done a great job of being able to really connect and collaborate with these guys. And football is supposed to be a fun game. And I think we play our best when they're enjoying it. And that's what this team has done. And want to continue to see moments like yesterday come to fruition.
Muchas gracias, Coach. Thank you.
All righty.
Eric, we're back to you.
Well, thank you. How's it going? Eric Martinez, New Stitch Media here. Congratulations on the victory, Coach.
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it.
First thing I wanted to get is some thoughts on the consistency of your play, offensively and defensively, and then also the depth of your roster, how it really showed the physicality and being prepared as a team and as a unit, and how important it is heading into this next week. That's another divisional opponent.
Yeah, it was a great challenge. I think the first thing is I was just really proud of the way that, the guys played on both phases. I thought there was some great, good moments on special teams, and then some moments that I know we're capable of executing at a higher level. But I was most pleased with the way that we played as a team, because football is a team sport. Even though there's 3 phases that are out there at separate times, thought they picked one another up. I thought we played good complementary football. I thought the second half we had really, good command of the game, but I kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, I did like the fact that we went through some adversity and found a way to kind of just stay the course, and nobody really changed other than just continue to take it one play at a time. And I think that's key and critical. You got to be able to, play all 4 quarters. It's never going to be perfect. And how you handle those ebbs and flows is usually going to be indicative of what you feel like at the end. And thought our guys did a great job. The energy was on display. The execution, I thought they played with an edge and a sense of urgency that we wanted, and that created an enjoyment. And that's the kind of stuff that I think will allow us to be at our best this year.
Perfect. I appreciate it, Coach. Thank you.
You got it.
Jordan.
Hey, Sean.
Hey.
Just a couple quick ones for you. Obviously you guys did a lot of different types of things conceptually in the run game yesterday. But still 2.3 yards per carry, but stayed with it consistently. When you're giving the defense more to think about in that regard, even if it's not necessarily as explosive as you'd like it to be, does that still lend an edge to the run game in a way? And then what do you want to see out of your blocking in that regard and your running backs?
Yeah, I think the answer is yes. And I think there's always some layers to it. I thought one of the key things was, we were able to do that because we were pretty efficient in some of those second down and longer situations, which you don't want to make a habit in living in those either. That's not, we need to be more efficient overall in the early downs. And so I thought that was something that we can definitely improve upon, even though we were able to overcome it. I don't think that's a sustainable model and method for playing the kind of ball that we want to be able to play. And there was a lot of different things. You're operating in a great atmosphere and environment. You're absent some of your cadence. I think you got to give them credit for some of the things that they were able to do to limit the production consistently snap in and snap out. And there are some instances where if they're committing to one thing, then it opens up the other, and you have to be able to make them pay accordingly. But I think that the run game takes all 11. I thought there was great instances of us straining and doing the things that we wanted, and there was certainly some great learning opportunities. And it's not exclusive to the players. Some of the decision-making, some of the spots relative to, all right, is this good versus some of their, the front structures or the coverage contours that they're playing. And, I have to be accountable to that, and we do as coaches, and try to be able to help with that. But I thought the versatility and the ability to stick with it was helpful overall for the accumulation of how we wanted to be able to play that game. And sometimes you can feel like that's the best thing to do. And then other times the feel or the flow of the game might dictate a little bit different response. But yesterday, that was what we felt like was the best approach. And I think there's a lot of credit to guys for enabling us to do that. And then there are some instances where you're getting a lot of runs towards the latter part of the game when you're really just trying to run the clock out, as opposed to really try to move the ball and score points when you're in some of those 4-minute offensive procedures, when you're up a couple possessions and just trying to close the game.
And then in terms of y'all secondary, DK was Darion Kendrick yesterday was talking about some of the ways that even when a play would break down, staying tighter to the check down options to also take those away. And I'm kind of wondering behind the scenes, what kind of studying that takes to understand tendencies in that regard, and then also to understand those rules that the quarterback likes to play with.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is, okay, what was the defensive call? I think our guys did a good job of being able to have rushing coverage, be in alignment, being able to play as 11 as one, and understand how do we want to defend their different sets that they're presenting, the different personnel groupings. I thought Raheem did a great job mixing it up, and I thought the guys had great ownership of the game plan. I thought we were sticky in coverage in a lot of instances. There was one play early on where they ended up kind of making a scramble and ended up hitting Metcalf off schedule towards their sideline. But other than that, I thought we did a great job of still being able to be sticky, to not have as much air in the coverage, but still be able to, do some things that are in alignment with what we believe philosophically. But there were some good mixtures, a lot of different things that we presented, and with not too many snaps. And I thought that was good. I was really pleased. You mentioned the secondary. I think Aubrey Pleasant, Chris Beek, and Mike Harris have done a great job. I thought really all three of our corners played really well. When you look at, DK, you look at Kobe Durant, you look at Akella Weatherspoon, and I really thought Jordan Fuller and Russ Yeast, Jordan Fuller made his presence felt. I thought his communication and his physicality coming down and defending the run, but also making some plays and coverage was outstanding. And I thought Russ Yeast did the same thing. So I was really pleased with those guys and happy for them. And now we got a great opportunity to be able to test ourselves against a great outfit this week.
Yeah, and then last and kind of big picture and maybe a little related to that particular topic as well. How have you watched and also been a part of how motion rules have changed and how they've become horizontal and vertical space manipulators?
Well, I think that's been something that's gone on for a while, and you just have to see what are the responses and what are the defensive philosophies. And so much, a lot of that is, based on, all right, what's the front structure and what does that mean and how it affects and influences the second and third levels of the defense. And so those have always been things that I think good offenses utilize, is the ability to, use their cadence and motions, as a weapon. And so, the Niners do as good a job as anybody with that. We've tried to be able to do some of those types of things. And I think that good defenses understand the intent of those things and try to be able to make sure that they have answers and counters. And, you show me something, these coaches are too good to be able to counter it, but it's an evolution. It's predicated on the type of spacing that you're playing, up front, and then how it affects the second and third levels. But certainly we'll get our rules challenged and tested by, a really well-coached team, excellent personnel, and excellent ways to be able to, utilize the motion to an advantage with the way that Kyle and those guys do it.
Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome.
Maria.
Hey, Sean, Tutu Atwell continues to produce for this team in different ways. What kind of growth have you seen out of him, even from just last year to this year?
Guy that's just continued to go to work. He's got an earned confidence based on, the energy that he brings, the way that he approaches his work every day. He's really smart. He's obviously a gifted guy. The stuff that you guys saw yesterday, that wasn't really anything new to his teammates, or to the people that have been in this building. This was just an extension of the work that he's put in and getting the opportunities and being able to deliver. And so want to continue to put that work in. But I thought he made 6 key and critical catches. And I thought there was a lot of different ways that he affected and influenced the game. And I was really happy for Tutu, but those weren't necessarily things that we hadn't seen. And I was just happy for him that he got those opportunities and delivered the way that he's capable of.
You think his confidence has also picked up over the years?
I think it's been earned. I think the one thing that I love about this team, Maria, is that when you have a growth mindset, these guys understand that work works, and you earn your confidence based on the work you put in and the way that you go about your business. And if things don't go down the way you want, you understand that the way to solve it is to go back to work, have a process that guides your everyday approach. I think that makes you more mentally strong, more resilient. And I think you can have an authentic confidence as a result of the work that you've put in. And I've seen that from Tutu Atwell. I've seen how conscientious he is, how coachable he is. You see the rapport that he and Matthew have together. And I know, and you guys know what a great job Eric Yarber, Jake Peets, KJ Black, Mike LaFleur's been so instrumental in helping those guys, really our whole offense as a whole. And I'm really happy for Tutu and want to continue to see him just play the way he's capable of by putting in the work every day.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dennis.
How you doing, Coach?
Good. How are you, Dennis?
I'm doing good. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
How will you evaluate the play of Byron Young and Kobe Turner yesterday? And do you view both players as impact players?
Yeah, I thought they both did really well. I thought the relentless strain, the effort, the overall understanding of what we were trying to get done. But I think these are two relentless competitors. They're two conscientious guys. It's never perfect, but football isn't perfect, and we don't expect that. But I thought Kobe was really outstanding the way he affected and influenced the game. I thought Byron made his presence felt. I thought there were some opportunities that we can learn from, but whether it's Joe Caniglio, whether it's Eric Henderson and AC Carter on the interior parts of the line working with Kobe, or Joe working with Byron, those guys are so coachable. They're so receptive. I thought it was really cool to see both those guys be starting players for us, play the way they did, bring the energy, bring the relentless effort, the pursuit to the football, and play with the techniques and fundamentals that they've been showing. And I think both of those guys have really hit their stride over the last month at the right time. And they're continuing to get more and more confident and comfortable. And that's what I want to see from this team as a whole is let's just continue to improve. Let's appreciate what yesterday was, but let's just continue to improve. Let's take steps in the right direction. Let's really be driven by, the process that we have every day, the work that is put in, and then understand how that applies to giving you an opportunity to go play with a quieted mind and execute to the best of your ability, even in situations and settings where these are the best in the world and they're trying to, do things that are counterintuitive to what we're trying to do.
And how much has the presence of Aaron Donald has helped both players?
What would you say to that question?
I think tremendously.
I would agree with you on that, Dennis. Aaron has got a special way about himself, but I think Aaron also picks and chooses his spots to be vocal. But I think there's nothing more powerful than showing instead of saying. And so he shows what it looks like. He shows what it looks like to do right in the meeting room, in the on the practice field, the way that he competes relentlessly in every single opportunity he gets. And the great ones elevate people around him. And I think we would all be in agreement and in alignment that certainly Aaron is checking all those boxes.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
All right, we'll wrap up with Greg, then Gary.
Hey, Sean, you already mentioned how well Russ Yeast played. I think when you guys signed John Johnson, a lot of people thought, well, maybe they're taking out an insurance policy there for a guy who has not played extensively on defense. But you didn't take him off the field yesterday. What did he do, and when did he show you that he was a guy that you could trust from week one in terms of playing every down and doing everything?
I think it started last year with some of the opportunities that he got, Greg, the improvement that was seen, the competitiveness, the range, the overall toughness. I love his play demeanor. I think he's getting more and more comfortable communicating with so much communication that's required on the back end that we have on the defensive side. But somebody needs to hit mute. But
probably me.
No, that's all good. But the other thing I would say is that he's earned it. I think I've been really pleased with that group as a whole. I think Jordan Fuller, Russ Yeast, they played really well. I think Quentin Lake has done an outstanding job with his role. And JJ's a guy that's played at a high level in this league. And so I don't think you can have enough good safeties that you think are legitimate starting caliber players. And we've got a guy in Jason Taylor who's a young guy that's going to be a core teams player. But, Russ has earned it. I think the coolest thing about this group is everything has been earned, Greg. Nothing has been given. We want to continue to have that edge. I think competition, eliminates complacency and drives the best in people. And that's what we want to continue to be able to have. And I think these guys are connected in the right way to positively push one another in a way that is uplifting. And Russ has played really well. And yesterday was another example of that.
Thanks. Sorry about Dodger Stadium.
Oh, no, you're good.
Gary.
Hey, Sean. Sorry if you might have covered this earlier, but just looking ahead to the 49ers, how is this group, kind of your first look impressions of them and how they might be different, with Brock Purdy than than they maybe were in the past with Garoppolo?
I haven't had a chance to get onto them yet because I'm sitting here talking to you, Gary. So, no, I think it's well documented how well they've played since Brock has really gotten a chance to step in, and that was consistent with Jimmy. So I think, one of the things, even when I was glancing up as you're watching them play Pittsburgh yesterday, before you're just waiting to get out and finally go compete yesterday against Seattle, as he got it up in the locker room, see the ability to extend plays. You can see the confidence and the command of him being able to click through progressions, deliver the ball with accuracy and anticipation, to be able to give their elite playmakers a chance to run after the catch. You can just feel there's a nice rapport that he and Kyle have. And when you've got that, you can be really dangerous offensively. And you can just see he's got a way about himself that his teammates are drawn to him. He's got a nice swag and play energy, and it's going to be a great challenge. And that's why you get into the NFL. But they sure as hell did their thing yesterday. They look sharp, and it's going to be a great challenge.